GM. Hey, Valko.
GM, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How's things on your end? I hear you had a busy day.
Oh yeah, it's just a crazy day. Bunch of work calls and got in late last night, delayed flight. Just contractors running around the house. I just got back home. I've been away for like 4 weeks, so
Oh, yeah?
crazy morning, but I'm thriving.
Wait, so where's home for you? Remind me again.
Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm half here, half New York.
I see. And so coming back from Tokyo, were you going through New York or?
Yeah. I stopped in New York, like just good flight options and to see the girlfriend. So but yeah, back home, it's been 4 weeks away from home. It's pretty crazy,
Oh,
but
wow.
here I am.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Where are you in it sounds like you're in a flight or something.
No. I am in the car.
In the car. Okay, cool. Well, shall we spread the space? Shall we share it? How
Yeah,
does this go?
I'm just a few minutes from getting back to my house. So once I get there, I can change the title and post a few places.
All right. So maybe let's just like chill a bit till then. And yeah, I wrote to a couple of people last minute, but they were not free to join. So yeah, it's been a busy week for me as well. With the rollout of the bidding feature. So it's quite. Well, that's done. So that's cool. But yeah, next week I'll be a bit more. Actually, yeah, next week I'm going to Morocco. Actually, so the week after I'll be a bit more chill.
Is that just for fun or
Yeah, we're
different?
going. We're going 4 days with my girlfriend to Morocco, first time actually, and
Nice. Yeah, that Morocco is amazing.
yeah, I'll actually probably not take my laptop because I don't know really what to expect. Have you been?
Yeah, I went to Marrakesh like a few years ago before COVID, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I can't wait to try the food over there. Like we go to all these Moroccan places and Moroccan restaurants here in Europe, but like to try the real deal finally, gonna be good.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be great. We got Praytik in the room. I don't know if he wants to come up on stage.
Yeah, guys, if anyone wants to hop on stage in the meantime, say hi. We'll
GM,
probably.
I saw it's a punks round table, guys. Are monkeys allowed?
Monkeys are allowed. We love monkeys. How's it going?
Good man. I heard about your traveling to Morocco. Sounds interesting. Food would be
Have you
good.
have you been?
No, so I have Turkey on my bucket list for probably early next year.
Yeah,
But yeah, I probably will have like a trip for like 3 to 4 countries just nearby and do a little bit of touristy things as well.
nice. Where are you dialing in from?
I am in Canada right now, near Toronto.
Canada. Okay, that's not close to Morocco at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I've seen you around on Twitter. What what brings you into the space, or what like I see you're like in a mutant, but like what side of the NFT space are you in?
Yeah, well, I mean, the introduction to the space was a bit funny, right? So I have a very close friend of mine who came to my place during the lockdown in part in Mumbai in
Yeah,
probably early, mid 2021, right? And he came in, we were having a beer, and he showed me a photo, right? It was basically a punk. I had no clue what a punk was, and
yeah.
he said, "You see this? This is worth $100,000." And I was like, "Why is a piece of pixelated crap like that? It's just an image. Why is it worth $100,000?" And then he's like, "Oh, there's something called as blockchain. Let me explain." And then we are having drinks, and he's explaining all of these things. And then the more he spoke, the more I kind of got curious, and then kind of just fell into the rabbit hole. Right? Like, why? Because it's not the image that's the important part, but the underlying technology. And that's what kind of got me hooked in, because my background is in product management. In tech, I create
Yeah,
tech products. So
nice.
naturally the curiosity came in, right? Like, why does this technology exist? Why is it different? Why are people kind of running towards this? And obviously that was a peak bull run time as well. So like everything was high. It was probably at like 3.5K at that point. Everything's pumping, right? And kind of just spend the next few months kind of just learning more about the space, buying into NFTs, and over a period of time, now I've worked in Web3 for probably 1.5 years now. Currently, I have a day job wherein I'm working in a company that is building the Web3 version of Shark Tank named Killer Whales. So it would be good where Web3 products go and pitch in, and then there would be these Web3 whales that would be the judges or the sharks in this case, and they'll kind of rate their projects and kind of just dissect it all to see if it's a pump and dump or is it an actual legit project. And then building my own product on the side as well. Thought, been in the space for 2 years, so the experience of my Web 2 plus Web 3 is kind of what I'm putting in and creating my own product on the side, which will just help people flip NFTs better, but also provide artists a good way to share their art and get paid in return as well. So yeah, lots going on, but happy to be in the space.
Nice. So if I counted correctly, that's three different things you're doing, right?
Two different things. One's so the Web3 Shark Tank thing is what pays the bills,
Ah, I
and
see, I see, I see, I see, I
and
see.
my own product on the side where the alpha version should be out in probably by the end of next month, right? And again, it's not gonna be a very hyped up thing. We'll probably go slow and have like a batch of 50, 100 users at one time. I want it to be like a slow progress rather than having all the high paid marketing and whatnot, and then just people coming funneling in and then just having a big drop off 10 days later. I want to kind of build it from the ground up, have kind of provide value for users in batches, and then grow my way up to kind of have a bigger audience using the product. So yeah.
Is it just you building this, or you have a small team?
I have two co-founders. So my background is in product. My co-founders have their experience in business and iGaming and lottery as well. And then we have a dev team within the apes community as well who are helping us build the product right now.
Oh, nice, very cool. No, I was just wondering. I've seen more and more like one person teams like just building entire products, and it just like blows my mind. But I guess the advent of like new tooling, no code, low code, like I mean, heck, even like AI writing your code for you now.
Yeah. I mean, it
People are really
depends
reducing
on the
headcount.
skill
It's
sets as well,
incredible.
right? Like some people are just really too good, whereas the other people are like me who are just like kind of normal and have specialty in probably one field. And then, you just need people to kind of join forces with you and create like a small team and then kind of just go in attack mode after that.
And how did you meet the people you're working with now? Like, I see you're in the Bored Ape ecosystem. Is it like through that?
Yeah, so kind of a mix of a role I was previously in and the community as well. So the co-founder, she has a moonbird and had a mutant before. So there was some common connections there along with the role that I was in. So I was able to network, and that's how we kind of ended up with each other. And stayed in touch through 2022, and eventually thought, hey, I mean, like, there's good synergy between us, and if we kind of get each other, I think we can kind of pool together our experiences and build something. And then we started ideating probably around August, September last year. And then we kind of finalized the idea, but there were a lot of legalities that kind of played around it, whether it's purely NFTs or does it come under lottery? Because again, everything's a gray area when it comes to regulations and compliance in NFTs, right? So we kind of spent 4 months just to kind of sort out everything legal before the first line of code was written. So yeah, that's kind of like the roadmap. But yeah, that's the journey so far.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, Valko, like back to your thing about the solopreneur, like I think like the easiest thing, like the easiest skill to like if you're a coder, it's so easy like just to start a little product and then build from there. Whereas if you're more on the kind of sales or product side of things, to kind of go from there, it's always like harder. Don't Pratik, don't you think that's also a thing as well? That
Very much.
because
Yeah.
I myself am a coder, and like every time when I play around with ideas, I always get the chance to code up a little MVP, like and just to get the thing playing by myself, and then always get the chance to like scale from there. Whereas if you don't have that coding skill, to get a small MVP together is always harder. And before I actually learned coding myself, I always had to reach out to a friend who was a coder, and so that was actually one of my reasons to get into programming myself.
Yeah. Well, my background initially was in coding as well. So like academically, I'm an IT engineer. So I used to code in PHP back in
Yeah.
2012 to 2014, right? Use the Code Igniter framework back then. But then kind of gradually moved into a product role because I had my own startup at that point. So I kind of transition more into like the product business and operations side, because the one thing about coding is once you are totally in and working on something, the world around you kind of diminishes and you're only focused on something. And while I was running my own startup, that was kind of a detriment because it would just take my focus off what were the more important things at that point. So it kind of just the whole transition happened then and kind of never looked back. The way that I found a solution for that was, always have people who have the skills that you don't have and kind of have them close so that whenever you have something on your plate to kind of build, you always have the people ready to work with you and achieve that goal.
Yeah, I mean, look, the flip side of the equation is like the devs who super brilliant can like build something overnight, test it, or maybe even build something close to like a full product overnight, but then they like post it online, maybe with the mentality of like if you build it, they will come, but like it doesn't actually work that way. Like, marketing and um, creating virality around the product is really tough. So it is nice to be able to like, if you have the vision to build something, to be able to just build it right away. I'm very envious of people who are able to like code in that way. And I don't know, it's one of those long time skills. I'm like, should I just like lock myself in a room for a month and like learn the bare minimum? But it seems like every day it's getting easier and easier for me to come up with like shitty prototypes and MVPs using like less and less technical tools. So part of me is hopeful that like that world just like continues to open up. But if you are on the cutting edge and like building completely new things that haven't been done before, like you generally have to get down into the code. It seems like at a certain point, like the no code, low code tools just like don't serve you anymore.
Yeah, they have the certain use cases, right? So if you look at website builders that are no code, they'll only get you a website ready and probably a few integrations here and there with e-commerce, and that's it. But whenever there's any custom modifications that need to be done or anything that is new and the framework doesn't support, right, you need development expertise at that point. And it's also about what's the use case. Is it just a flat out website with a simple integration, or is it a platform that's going to evolve into a much bigger beast down the line, which will basically decide whether you should be going with a no code tool or should it be completely custom.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wonder who we got. Sam. We got Mystery Sam in the audience. Should we invite Mystery Sam to speak?
Also, in the meantime, guys, if you can retweet the space that I tagged on top, that'd be cool. So we have more people to join. And yeah, if you want to come up and share your thoughts, feel free. And yeah, with that said, Valko, well, what's up on our plate today? I mean, I have a couple of ideas what we could discuss. But what do you have in mind?
So, you know, I saw Coinbase is like, I don't know if you saw any of those announcements.
Uh, about the Coinbase and SEC debacle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like Coinbase is basically trying to push Gary Gensler to be like, say yes or no.
And then there was also last week Gensler had to testify in front of what was it, the House, and I saw a bunch of clips on Twitter about him kind of not giving straight answers. Is that tied in with that as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm kind of reading through some of this right now, but it seems like, yeah, Coinbase is making some push on like quote like sensible crypto policies, and I think a part of this is to get Gary Gensler to maybe like have some sort of final verdict on, are these coins securities and are these coins not? Which is definitely a loaded question. Like, as much as like I want to hate the guy, I did feel bad for him because like these things aren't black and white oftentimes. Like I don't abide by this rule that like you can grandstand somebody and like force them to answer yes or no, and if they don't,
Yeah.
then like you're winning the argument. Like I think that's kind of silly because like most things in life are pretty nuanced. But at the same time, like his whole argument is like, well, it's sort of based on the rules, like it's based on the rules. And it's like, well, dude, like you set the rules, like, and he's like, yeah, it's based on the rules and how they're interpreted. It's like, who better to interpret the rules than you, game master? And he just like, it seems like he just wants to, I mean, who knows what his actual agenda is, but the vibe I get is that he just wants to maintain flexibility so that when he wants to, he can like fly down, drop down, helicopter in from the sky and be like, this is a securities violation because he kept it ambiguous up until that moment. Like, that's the only explanation I have, but I'm sure like his motivations and the influences and controls over him like run deeper than, we'll probably ever know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that because that he has an agenda himself. Because like there was this clip last week circulating on Twitter that he was teaching a couple of years ago a course about blockchain, and there is literally a clip where he repeats a couple of times that 3/4 of the cryptocurrencies are not securities. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm.
So I retweeted that one, but it was like fascinating because there's this 1 minute clip where he repeats in his course that 3/4 of the coins are not securities, and I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing here, because then 3-4 years later he is just literally like giving blank and unclear answers, when he's meant to kind of give clarity. And also, like, in the hearings, they asked him specifically about Ethereum, not just some random coin or shitcoin, so
Well, yeah, because he's outwardly said like, hey, Bitcoin's not a security. Like, I don't know how official that statement can be, but like he's gone out on a limb and made statements and opinions on Bitcoin, but like won't do the same for Ethereum. But like by implying Bitcoin's, not a security, he's effectively implying that everything else is,
yeah, I don't know.
including Ethereum. But he won't even go out to say that. He's just kind of like keeps it
Yeah.
ambiguous, which is super frustrating. Yeah, so I put up this tweet from Coinbase. It's just like some thread. um, I guess you can mint an NFT to like stand with Coinbase
Really?
in this
I,
effort, which is kind of cool. And then you add a shield name next to your Twitter handle. Should we? I mean, fuck. If I do that, I lose my blue check mark. But I'm kind of down. I would put a shield next to my name. It's kind of
that's
sick.
what's the mint price? 0.69 ETH.
1 ETH.
1 ETH, nice. Pratik, you had your hand up. What's up?
Yeah, there was also a video of Gensler speaking at MIT proudly and shilling Algorand in a subtle way. Did you guys see that as
I've
well?
heard of it. I haven't seen it, but it's also crazy if you think of it.
Yeah. I mean, it just begs the question, right? Like, does he even have any of his opinions, or he's just being kind of controlled in terms of what he should say and not say, because it kind of looks like it, right? The people pulling the strings are probably having their own agenda in a way.
Yeah, he's just like a puppet that is paid a chunk of money to, just take be a shield in some sense.
This tweet I pinned is kind of cool. So this guy's saying that today they filed a narrow action suit in the U.S. To compel the SEC to respond yes or no to a rulemaking petition we filed with them last July. And he goes on to say basically the SEC is required by law to respond to these petitions within a reasonable time, but they have not yet responded to their petition from last July. So I guess like at some point, like it's almost like an ultimatum or like a forcing function. Like there's maybe a time limit. I don't know. It's quote within a reasonable time. It's like it's funny. Like what is reasonable? Like I guess reasonable is just based on like previous reasonable time frames and not absolute numbers, which is frustrating. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like the pressure's on. Like I think it's just like a matter of when they come out and like make some sort of ruling on these things. And yeah, I mean, high level their ruling can be like yes or no. I mean, but I'm sure there's all shades of gray in between that could lead to a lot of repercussions for the market. I mean, it feels like the market is in this state right now where like it could kind of go either way. And something like this could help or hurt that. But
Well,
I also kind of always feel like the market feels like it could go either way. Like
speaking of the market, what do you guys think about yesterday's price action?
Dude, I think I only saw a big red candle that you tweeted. Is that accurate?
Dude, that was...
Oh, yes, it is.
That was this massive red candle, and I took a screenshot of my app and I posted it, and I was like, it was actually a really successful tweet. I think I had like 15,000 like impressions, but basically I said, what pattern is this, right? And and if you go to my tweet and read through the comments, maybe I'll even tag it here, you see the most hilarious comments ever. Like people got like really, really inspired. I don't know what I put in that tweet, but I got like 60 comments, like people literally just going out of their way, like
oh, wow,
making a Photoshop of
oh, this is a masterpiece of a tweet.
Yeah.
Put up some good numbers.
Yeah. And it's surprising because sometimes it just happens, Let me pin it for you guys.
I got it.
Yeah, so now I just pinned it to the top. So if you want a good laugh, just scroll down and go through the comments. So one guy said it's the Nokia snake game. Yeah, man, it's just
wait, this punk is the candlestick punk is amazing.
Yeah, the candlestick punk is outright amazing. But so what actually happened, I don't know if you guys followed, is the candle was caused by a sell-off by jump trading, right? So jump trading is, I think, one of the biggest, what you call them, market makers, crypto traders in the space, right? And their sale was triggered by an alert that the US government's wallet started selling Bitcoin, right? And so
I forgot the US government has a wallet. That's like shit they stole from like Dread Pirate Roberts and shit.
I think so, along those lines. But anyway, the point being, they were subscribed to this alerting system, and it
got hacked.
Well, it turned out that there was a bug in the alert. So the US government, I think, didn't even sell any crypto. There was just an issue with the alert system. So the alert system alerted Jump Trading, who liquidated basically made a 3K red candle on Bitcoin, and then it turned out, oh, sorry, it was just a little bug. And then the whole thing just picked up from there. So now it's kind of back to the pre-candle level.
I wonder if they were able to just like re-enter post-candle. That's like logically what you think would be like, oh, great. Like you just made a big jump.
It's
like,
make the dip and buy the dip.
Enter back in. But like it's not so easy when you have positions that large.
Yeah, those are
the two DB alerts. Just to confirm, were Mount Gox and US government, as in US GOV, and that's the funny part.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and then the rest of the crypto market, like ETH and Solana prices, all follow that. But I found it pretty funny, because when it was like climbing, when we had all those green candles, I'm like, yay, finally back to 30K. Inflation is coming and stuff, and then bam, massive candle. I was like, oh my god, this is what crypto is.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I feel like there's this ongoing narrative. Like, maybe it's just the people I'm surrounded with, where like, they're like, oh, we're in weird times with the market, like really weird times. Like, it could go up, it could go down, really weird times, and like, it just seems like it's this perpetual sensation. Unless we're like obviously in like some crazy like bull run, then like most people just seem to have this opinion like it could go either way. Let's see. It's like, well, no shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a weirdly successful tweet, I could say, but yeah. So Valko, did you have a look into Inspect, the app that I sent you yesterday?
I haven't looked at it on my computer. It was so late. I went to bed and I woke up just to like a whirlwind of a day, but I wanna poke around it more. But like the thing I thought was pretty cool is is how it shows you like your imposters.
Oh yeah, that it has that as well. Well, let me
I guess you got to tweet one and then we could pin it.
yeah, let me I just pinned a tweet about the current guy that has the most reach on NFT Twitter. So basically, it's an app that kind of analyzes the social graph of NFT Twitter, right? So we all know that NFT Twitter is where things happen. Everyone has their PFPs, and then, some people have more influence than others and stuff like that. But this app actually kind of quantifies that with like data behind it, and kind of their main metric, I would say, is global reach, right? So essentially, global reach is the percentage of NFT Twitter that your profile has reached in the last 7 days, right? And I checked my profile yesterday, and I think my global reach was 0.8%, right? That means that in the last 7 days, I reached about 1% of all of NFT Twitter, right? So essentially, 1% of NFT Twitter has been exposed to my content. And I found that really interesting. And then here I pinned a tweet with the guy who's currently the number one reach. He's also a punk. I'm sure you guys seen him. He's Borovic. Are you guys familiar with him?
Oh yeah. I somebody posted a thread about Borovic's like rise to success yesterday. I don't know if you saw that
Well,
one.
that's the thread. That's the thread I pinned. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I mean, so last week his global reach was 34%, right? In other words, 34% of all NFT Twitter was exposed to this guy's content last week, which is insane.
It is insane. I mean, I read through the thread and it basically said short things that are on the trends, right?
Yes,
That was like
exactly,
kind of the
exactly.
TLDR. Just like really focus on trends. I mean, it makes sense. People go to these apps because they want to stay fresh on what's happening, and whether people are like conscious of it or not, like you just tend to gravitate towards shit you haven't seen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the news for many people. And if you go back to my tweet with this weird Bitcoin pattern, at the end of the day, people found out through that red candle through my tweet, right? So it was this short, concise text and an image. So very kind of easy to consume, and it had a decent reach.
Yeah, I mean,
So
heck, I might just delete all my token trackers and websites and just I'll follow you now as my my price monitor.
there you go, there you go.
And then if you tweet sell, I'm gonna liquidate all of my shit.
but Valko, it makes me think that like sometimes we put so much effort into thoughtful tweets, thoughtful threads. But at the end of the day, that's not always what gets most of the visibility, most of the impressions, right? Because people just don't have the time to go deep into
No, you're
reading.
right. I mean, threads have so much drop off too. I forget which app I saw this in. I think it was one of the like thread composer apps, like Tweetfully or something. But anyways, it like it analyzes like the viewer drop off rate on threads, and it's like it's tremendous. Like over half of the people don't make it from tweet one to tweet two. But it makes sense because like I'm guilty of this. Like I see a really awesome like thread, so I think, great initial opener. Maybe I read the first tweet and the second tweet, and then I'll be like sending it to my friends, and I'm like, wait a second, like, hold on, I need to read this because it could be bad. I could be shilling misinformation, but also like I'm just falling back into the trap of like boomers reading headlines and not the articles and sending them around, which like it's like an age old psychological flaw in humans where we are so guided by the headline. Like it doesn't even fucking matter what the contents of the article is. Like we basically write the article in our own head for ourselves based on the headline and the image. And it's just a terrible way to operate, but like it's also a big opportunity, I think, from like a marketing standpoint or psyops, whatever you want to call it. That can definitely be exploited. But I think you're right. Like short content, there's like such a huge emphasis on threads. But if you really focus on churning out a high volume of like short content and you get your brain prepped to like really crush that short form, snippy content that's actually based on what's happening, you can just get way more like shots on goal, like just way more, and like one of them's gonna hit, versus like threads, like
Yeah, yeah.
you're getting like 10% the shots on goal with realistically 10 times the effort.
Yeah. And that's why, amongst others, NFT sales bots perform so well, right? Because, if you have a high sale of, I don't know, a punk or a fidenza, that's breaking news, it's a piece of information, it's a piece of content that's very easy to consume, right? This fidenza sold for 200 ETH, or this punk, this, like one of my most successful tweets was when I mimicked an alien sale, right? Remember that on April's Fool? And that
Oh yeah, dude, that was crazy.
that was
You had me for a good half a second. Like I was like, whoa. And then I immediately was like, hold on. I didn't even register the day. I was just like, hold on, like this could be a troll, but because it was coming from you, I was like,
well,
Forever Punk doesn't
wait a
troll
second,
around like this.
I'm sure for a second you didn't know it was from me because, right, I changed my profile picture and all that kind of stuff, right? It was like an outright joke. But the point is that
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I forgot about I quickly saw it was from you though.
oh,
I
no,
remember that.
sorry. So what I did, I have a second account, and that's where I tweeted from, and I from my main account retweeted it. That's what happened.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the point is that, like, you are like a seasoned veteran that knows how to avoid these kind of little tricks. But most people were just like, "Wow, amazing," and retweeted without like even clicking on the link to check the blockchain and all that thing. So
Says a lot about the space, doesn't it?
Man, should we engineer some viral content? What's a good headline we can do right now? It probably has to involve an egregiously high price thing. What's like a trending collection right now?
trending collection, let me
Malaysians.
tell you, I did my first mint last week on Solana. Have you guys heard of Mad Lads?
Bro, I was in London 2 weeks ago, and all I could talk about with my friend was how we have to do a collection called Mad Lads. And then I did research and I found this Mad Lads that's now
What?
trending. And I saw it and I was like, wow, this is not the art I at all anticipated or envisioned in my head for what a Mad Lad is as like an American.
Wait,
So
so
I was like, fuck this
why
project.
did
Like,
what's the deal with Mad Lad? Is that like I don't know, something cool, something trendy? I mean, it rhymes, I get it, but why Mad
I
Lad?
mean, it's a subreddit on Reddit. That's how I initially encountered it, like r
Really?
slash Mad Lads. It's like kids doing stuff that's like, I think oftentimes it's like not actually that crazy. Like it'll be a sign that's like, don't step on the grass. And then they like step on the fucking grass. And it's like, oh, mad lad, you know?
Really, I actually didn't
But
know that there was actually a deeper meaning to this apart from the rhyme.
no, I mean, I've always known it as like the kind of like ironic or satirical, like mad lad, like you're not actually being that crazy. But like it also means like, you know, some crazy drunk, like British lads as well. You know, maybe it's they
Really.
go into a football game, getting super wasted on a pint of beer, and then all of a sudden they go basically goblin mode, but it's like mad lad mode.
Well, so do you want to hear the story of this mint that happened last week and now is trending all over Twitter?
Yeah, dude, I'm just so mad because like I saw the beauty in the name. I looked at the art. I said this doesn't match up, and I was like, you know what? I've given up on my Mad Lad vision. Now fast forward, it's popping off, and you minted.
Well, so here's the story. You and I were in the Punks Telegram group, right? And a lot of alpha comes from that Telegram group and also like in the Discord. But there was a guy that posted saying, hey, one of the most anticipated Solana mints is happening in the coming days. I have 5 whitelist spots for punks, okay? And you know how Telegram group is that it like, it scrolls on and then these messages get forgotten, right? And so
Right.
and then I saw that, this very famous punk called Mike Dudas.
Yeah.
I mean, so Mike Dudas, he is, I think, an investor, a VC guy. He then confirmed that yes, indeed, this will be one of the biggest Solana mints in this year, because DeGods they left Solana for Ethereum, and now there's this void on Solana to fill, right? And so it's like, all right, why not? So I DM'd the guy who had some whitelist spots. He was also another punk. And I was like, yo, can you, I don't know, add me to the list? And I was like, whatever, what do I have to lose, right? And so he added me to the list. And then I figured out that it was a hugely anticipated mint. And the Solana ecosystem is like very, very kind of isolated from the Ethereum one. And then I start like scrolling around, in their Discord, on their Twitter, and there's like so many guys that are like, oh, I want a whitelist. Oh, how do I get a whitelist? Blah blah. And then eventually what happened is that the mint price was 6.9 Solana. 6.9 Solana is about $150, right? So basically zero, right? Very cheap.
But is that pretty high for a Solana mint? I feel like maybe it is.
Yeah.
I have no benchmark. Mr. Snow will know. Mr. Snow reacts with a heart if it's a high mint price for Solana. React with 100. No, react
Or
with
even
a
come on stage.
cry
Even
if
come
it's
on
not.
stage to share your thoughts
Ooh.
if you're knowledgeable about Solana mints, because this was my first one and first experience. But basically, a couple of my friends that were in there, they were like, yes, Solana is this very quick and cheap chain, right? It's more for, the people that don't have a shit ton of money and that don't want to pay, $20 every time they interact with the chain, right?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up,
Yo,
dude?
what's up, man? How's it going? I've been listening while I'm working, but I have just a moment. So back to Mad Lads. The reason they have such hype is I don't know if you saw where I posted beneath I added NFT backpack.
Yeah.
They are I don't know too much about them, but they definitely came onto Solana by storm, and apparently they're basically trying to revolutionize and I guess, yeah, just revolutionize the way that we use NFTs and interact with NFTs, and they've created a wallet. And this is the first official collection from them. So there was a lot of hype around Mad Lads, but yes, to answer your question, 6.9 Solana is hefty. But USD value, it's not. Back in the bull, you would see 1.5 to 2 Sol for a mint, but Sol was $100. So
Yeah.
it was about
What are
equivalent.
like
It's a psychological thing in people's heads. But yes, the actual number of Solana being 6.9 is a high. Like in people's heads, they're like, that's outrageous.
what's like the
Really?
average blue chip floor price on Solana?
I would probably say about 60 Sol. Like DJ and Ape sit around there. Famous Fox sits around there.
So we're talking like a little over a
Yeah,
grand,
yeah,
something like
50 to
that.
60 Sol. And then if you really go up, you can go up to Mad Lads and Claynosaurs, and they're sitting around the 80 to 100, around in that range.
Interesting.
But so to finish the story, right? I minted at 6.9, and then immediately on secondary it was 50 Sol. So I did like basically an 8x just by being able to mint. And then it went to 100 Sol. So now it's sitting around 100 or 90 Sol, which is about 1 ETH, right?
But you already sold.
No, I'm not sitting on it because I'm like, and the reason why I'm sitting on it, right? Because DGods, right? DGods was the most famous one. Their floor price was upwards of 500 Sol, right?
I
So
see. So when
It
are you
peaked
pulling
at
out, you think?
700.
they peaked at 700, you said?
Just about. I think they were like 698. They couldn't break 700.
But now they're sitting on Ethereum at like 7.5 ETH or
Right.
8
Well, they
ETH or
peaked a
something.
retracement, though, because they came onto Ethereum and spiked heavy up to like the 10 range.
Yeah. But that was because of the narrative, like moving chains, blah, blah,
100%.
blah. And yeah, so what's the story with y00ts? Because all this DGod and y00ts stuff I didn't really follow, just on Twitter. Like, have you
Okay.
been in there a bit?
I actually have like a profound realization, and maybe it's like I was 6 years old when I realized this kind of situation. Everybody else knows this, but basically, I was watching like a short little documentary thing. It might have even been like a TikTok format video on Pepe, because obviously Pepe is pumping. And it goes back to the origins of Pepe, like way back. It might have even been like a Vice documentary on Pepe. I don't fucking know. It had like a weird flavor to it that seemed vicey. But anyways, it goes back to the OG days of Pepe. Um, and it shows this cartoon called The Boys Club. I don't know if anyone's ever fucking heard of this cartoon, The Boys Club, but it was where Pepe first debuted. And if you look it up right now, like type in Boys Club Pepe, there's this little figure in it that looks like a Ute, like identical to a Ute. And I have no idea if there's a relation here, but are you guys seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm just Googling now.
I won't lie, you just kind of blew my mind. I'm like looking at this right now, like, wait,
Oh,
what?
shit.
Right? Is this like some deep fucking 4chan state NFT project shit?
I'm here for it if it is. Dude, that's interesting.
It looks like a Ute, right? I'm not thinking of a different NFT collection.
Yeah, the way it was described to me was the whole reason they made y00ts was to make the whole brand of DGods more accessible to the common person, to where DGods will try and become a more of a luxury set apart brand, where y00ts will be it'll be more like, yeah, as I just said, more accessible to the common investor.
Okay, I found a tweet. I'm pinning it. It's actually a tweet from Funk, I guess. But yeah, look at this cartoon. It's like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Mr. Snow, what's your background a bit? Are you more active on Solana or tell us a bit more?
Yeah, so I first got into crypto in 2017. But I didn't get into NFTs because I did my first NFT on Ethereum, and it was actually one being I got rugged by my own brother. It was being peddled on me by my own brother, and after my experience on it, though, just with gas fees and sometimes transactions going through and me losing the money but not getting what I had gone for and things like that, at the time I was, and I'm still am, I'm not a whale by any means, but a very, very small fish. So those things added up quickly against me. And so Solana was really my first gateway in, and I happened to get into Solana at just kind of the right time when DAA had just become a big the Degen apes, and then I was able to luckily just kind of get into. I did Stoned Apes. I actually had a DGod in their early days. I flipped it at the time for 500, $600, and was like W. And now I'm like
Oh,
kind
God,
of
yeah.
kicking myself. But at the time, Solana was $100, upwards at $200 at one point. And so seeing it go up 5 or 6 Sol, that was a big W, especially like I said, for me being a smaller fish at the time jumping in. And really now these days, I'm just kind of collecting coins. I'm not really doing as much with NFTs at the moment. I have been stacking some Lotus Gang and some Lily. I think they'll fill part of the void that DGod's left open. Bungiel, the guy that runs them, is a smart guy. He's been a Solana OG, has a lot of respect in the Solana community, and he's got a lot of people behind him. And so I think they've got some cool things in the pipeline over there. If you haven't checked them out, I also dropped them beneath the space in a comment. I think they're worth a look if you're getting into Solana NFTs.
And so what was the thing about DGods that made it so big, you know? Because what did they do different from the other collections on Solana to
Um,
have so much success?
For me personally, I mean, there's a lot of reasons that attribute to that, but my two biggest things I would say would really be Frank and then probably honestly number two, I was going to say community, but it would be Frank again and the community he created. Frank has he's a marketing genius, he's a hype generating genius, and he also sparks loyalty amongst the people that invest into him. And that community is the original DGod holders. Those some of those dudes are. They're definitely of what you would call diamond handed. You know, these dudes are, but a lot of them also, and I will say they get a bad rap for this. They don't necessarily like, it's not like a lot of Solana people, because you got to remember Solana, because of the low transaction fees, attracts a lot of the smaller fish. So a lot of the guys in DGOS, it was easier for them to hold as well because they already came from backgrounds where they had financial stability and they weren't trying to flip for that next, you know, meal essentially. Um, and so I think it was really, yeah, Frank. I mean, if you should look at Frank and everything he's done, the dude's he's pretty smart.
Well, what are the supply on these on y00ts and DGods?
DGods was a 10K collection and y00ts was a 12.5K collection.
And did DGods get to mint, I don't know, use for free or
Yeah,
what
they
was
got.
the?
I'm pretty sure they got 1 for 1. If I remember correctly, they got 1 for 1 on the mint tubes for y00ts, and then the others, or the rest of the y00ts, were done through a scholarship application process.
But that feels weird because 10K DGods and 12.5K y00ts, like most of the y00ts were given
I'm
to the
trying to
DGods.
remember. I want to say maybe it was holding a certain amount of DGods got you the
Okay,
priority
yeah.
mint
Does
on the
anybody
y00t.
remember the exact y00ts sign up process? Wasn't there like the y00t list or something?
Yes, yeah, it was done application style. So you had to apply. I actually applied. You had to go through, and I had to put that I was a community manager and a writer, and I did some collab management within Solana projects. And I mean, according to them, I wasn't good enough, man. But
Oh no. Did you even get waitlisted?
I did not. I didn't get listed. They went through and they picked some people. It was interesting. It was an interesting to me. Frank loves the psychological aspect to marketing and to just everything.
Yeah,
And it
it's
was
like that right there. Like they might not have even looked at the applications. They might have just randomly
correct because
picked
they
people,
were they were
and it makes
accepting
you
people
feel
like Summer
chosen,
Rae
right?
and Jake Paul and like people that just you've never even seen mentioned in Solana until that day.
Mm-hmm.
But they were the ones who started the application meta, which is probably good testament to a project though.
Yeah, I mean it's that like I don't know what there's a name for the psychological effect, but it's akin to like you walk up to a club and the club's fucking empty inside, but there's still a line outside, you know, and it makes you want to go in, and I mean it really makes you want to go in, and then there's this extra effect. It's kind of like the you get 3 invite codes effect, where um, once you're in the club you can go out into the line and you can like walk to the back of the line and be like, oh, him, he's with me. And then you pull them fucking in
Yeah.
and you guys feel like fucking ballers. And that's what's happening obviously with like Blue Sky right now. They're doing the like, if you're in Blue Sky, you get 3 invite codes. Um, and that's it. I think Vash Art actually, who's in my community, the V3 Collective, and just on dumb luck, like literally, he won my giveaway for a spot on Masna's mural. It was not engineered at all. He just like won it, but I'm pretty sure it was Vash who invited me to Blue Sky, and now I don't have invites to give out, but we'll see. I'm like super sus of this whole like everybody's making a Twitter thing. I don't like it.
It's the age-old marketing technique, right? That's a Web 2 and works in Web 3 as well, right? I mean, not sure how many of you are Android users, but when OnePlus kind of was launching their first phone, OnePlus One, they had the similar thing wherein you get an invite and you can only invite one other person, and that's how they kind of created the hype, and that's why the same thing kind of happens in Web 3 as well with the allowless spots, with the application meta, or anything that kind of blocks access and is not like public or free, and then it's just FOMO after that because that's a basic human let's say expectation that if you cannot get that, you want that, right? And then that's how kind of the demand kicks in.
Right. Yeah. You feel like you earned it, or you feel like you had a proximity to cool, and then your friend invited you. And there's a whole
Exactly.
clubhouse thing where they like actually denote like who invited you into clubhouse. Like it says like this person was invited by Bill, and Bill was invited by like John, and then like eventually it goes all the way up to the tree, like everybody was invited by the same guy, like the founder or something, which is like pretty crazy. I always wanted to get like a big data visual of that tree, and then just like pick famous people, like whether it's a clubhouse host that like I followed back in the day, maybe it's somebody famous like an Elon Musk, and see like what is the branch like that connects us, because it's interesting. It's not the same as like first, second, third degree connections on LinkedIn, because this has more of a clear like parent child type of relationship, of a referral system. And it would be really cool to see like, okay, like take this person, am I more is it easier for me to be connected to them like via the top of the tree, like moving up and then back down to them, or like are we more connected like from the bottom of the tree? Like I think that would be such a cool visual. But I'm sure Clubhouse will like never leak that data, because probably like kill their app overnight. Maybe not.
Isn't Clubhouse already dead?
Ooh, roasted. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's dead to
I mean,
me.
Twitter Spaces basically
I was gonna
killed
ask the
it.
same thing, man. Who uses Clubhouse anymore?
Oh man, I
But
think I'm
question,
gonna have to clip that. Just me talking about Clubhouse, and then you just being like, "Isn't Clubhouse already dead?"
but yeah, Valko, Blue Sky, like I've heard of it, but tell me more. Well, what is it exactly?
I mean, look, I don't know much about it. I don't know how it's architected, but the idea is that it is a more decentralized version of Twitter, and it's backed by Jack Dorsey, and he's actually been like a long time proponent of like, he basically regrets the route he took with Twitter and the decisions he made with Twitter. I think even during the sale or the discussions of the sale to Elon, Jack was always like, like he basically was like, I sold out, like I went to the dark side, like I wish I hadn't caved into this, advertising surveillance complex. I wish I had built Twitter to be a decentralized protocol. And like, I mean, who knows? That guy's strange. But like, I know one thing that I've observed to be true across like all billionaires, is that like at a certain point, when you get a lot of money, like, you just start to care about like the impact and the mark and the change you're making on the world. Like, you really, it forces you to seek higher purpose, because you are so far beyond survival and providing for your friends and family. It's like you just really have like way too much money to know what to do with, and you seek some higher purpose. And obviously we see like Elon is like trying to fucking colonize space and accelerate the transition to clean energy. Like, he's trying to make Earth last long and get us into space. And some people might just say that's the story he tells to make money, but who knows? But with Jack, he was big into this idea of a decentralized protocol for something like Twitter, like a text based RSS feed, I guess, that's like even more decentralized than that. And I think Blue Sky, I guess, is the attempt at this, but like we also have Farcaster, we also have um, you know, uh, I forget the other one. It'll come back to me. But yeah, I feel like the problem with these things, and we talked about this with Seb the other day, is from a user's perspective, and users like don't care about the tech stack. Like, we know this. Um, there's no added benefit or like vertical like 10x innovation of it being built on a decentralized platform. So you're basically trying to convince people, come use this app. It's identical to Twitter, the thing you already have, but it's decentralized. It's like nobody fucking cares. Like, same thing like that. It's the same reason like Monero has struggled to get like real traction, is like you can tell people that this is private, but like people kind of don't care. It takes an application or a use case or a feature that takes advantage of that new tech stack to really get people to understand. And I think we've yet to see that with this Twitter space. But once somebody cracks that egg or that nut, then they'll have a chance. at overcoming the cold start problem of a social network. But then and only then.
Interesting. Speaking of the early days of Twitter, I don't know if you guys read or heard of this book called Hatching Twitter. I read it and I highly recommend. It's about the origin story of Twitter, the early days, how Jack Dorsey and Evan Williams, founded Twitter and how it got popular. So I recommend reading that book,
Dude,
Hatching
that's
Twitter.
amazing. I didn't know you could read.
What do you mean?
I'm just fucking with you.
I listened to it in audiobook, so yeah.
Ah, roasted. That's funny.
Yeah.
I actually just got a Kindle. I'm trying to like be more disciplined when I go to bed. I'm just laughing. You're like, what do you mean? Like sweating? He knows.
Yeah,
No, I got a Kindle because I'm trying to like keep my phone away when I go to bed. I was like pretty good about it for a while, but then at Do Tokyo, like everything went to shit, and I started falling asleep scrolling Twitter again. But
man, it's crazy.
I'm trying to do the like, no phone. Like it's not even like a 30 minutes before bed thing. It's just like when I get in bed, my phone is to be across the room with my alarm set. Helps me get up, helps me go to sleep, and then I've just been kindling. So I'm looking for good book recommendations, but you would put a good rec on that one.
I would definitely. Yeah, I love that one.
It talks about cold start problem and stuff.
I don't think not specifically about the cold start problem, but it's very much about the Silicon Valley kind of startup vibe and all that. The other book that I would highly recommend if you like this kind of genre is Super Pumped. Right. So I back in the days used to work early days at Uber. And the CEO, the founder, Travis Kalanick, was just an idol and a god to all of us. And I remember before I got into crypto and Bitcoin and all that stuff, I was like deep down the Uber kind of mission. And I remember I would spend my weekends kind of reading into the documentation of this company because I just found it so fascinating.
Wow.
And it was like partly inspired by and led by Travis Kalanick, right?
Wow. So you were like, you were indoctrinated almost like into a cult just based on his sheer leadership.
Totally. I was, I think, employee 900 at Uber back in the days, and it was fascinating to be part of that. And I left when I got hired, they flew me over to San Francisco for this thing they called Uberversity, right? And it's basically this one week kind of super cool training program where you get to meet the founders. They give presentations to you, the cultural values of the company. And then a couple of months after I did that, they stopped it because the company got too big. But so yeah, that book, Super Pumped and Hatching Twitter, I can personally recommend to anyone.
I didn't know you were an early Uber employee. I feel like we could do an entire space on that experience.
Yeah.
We could probably find other fucking NFT degens who were also Uber employees.
Well, you know who was the really
I drove for Uber at one point.
You did?
Oh yeah, in Nashville.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of books, check out on Audible Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. It's about visionaries and integrators and how to leverage your differences with the people you work with, how to optimize your workspace with those that you work with. It's a pretty good read, pretty good listen.
I really want to make a book board where like people in my community can like connect their wallet and just upvote, downvote what books they like, and maybe like courses that I pay for the community, so that just like there's a peer review like Reddit style, but like more cryptographically true of like what's good and what's not. I feel like that would just be helpful. Like I just need more books to read, and like why trust myself when I could trust like 100 people that think like me.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Valko, you collected a long list of tweets. Is that correct? And I remember seeing like a subscription thing you were selling about that.
Oh yeah, dude.
What's up with that?
Is actually pretty exciting. Let me see if I can find. I don't know if I have a tweet on it, but yeah, I have this thing called the Web3 Wiki, and I basically built it for myself. Like I I, like many people, enjoy bookmarking tweets, and rarely like took the time to go back to them. But like I created a system to like kind of like make me be good about like rereading content, or if I don't have time to read a tweet, saving it for later. And so basically it started with just me saving links to like a Apple Notes page. Then I got more advanced. I made like a Notion database, and I got saved a Notion clipper, and then I started tagging them based on categories, because I was like, well, what if one of my friends wants to read the best 5 threads on wallet security? Like he could go to Twitter and search wallet security, and like he might have some luck. Like the algorithm will surface the tweets that are good. He could alternatively go to accounts that he deems to be legitimate, search their accounts for their tweets. But like the Twitter search experience fucking sucks, and there's so much noise on Twitter that I realized like hand curating a collection was actually like pretty valuable. I spend 3 to 4 hours on Twitter a day, probably. Maybe not as much these days because I've been busy like with a lot of client work. But point being, like I've been doing all the work to curate the stuff and tag the stuff, and I figured, okay, like this is a valuable database of things. I've also had an itch to like build once, sell twice, try selling a digital product, but I haven't had the time to make a course. So I was like, okay, like let's see what happens. Like I'll just make this Notion database and put it up on Gumroad and see if people buy it. And I haven't made a lot of money from it. I think I've made like $700-800 selling this thing. I've experimented with it being $0, pay what you want. I've experimented with it being $1, $5, $9. Now it's $49, but I do a lot of sales to bring the price down. Like I've been experimenting with that because people love like sales, and there's like a lot of psychological tricks there. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm not here to provide tricks. Like I think it's a really good like archive of like dank tweets that's hand curated and tagged by me, and people who are in my community actually get access to it for free. And the coolest thing about being in the community, just to show my community a little more, lol, is you know, a lot of people don't have the time to go back to the wiki and look through things. So I have a channel in my Discord that whenever I save something new, it within 60 seconds shows up in that channel, so that people can in real time consume what I'm consuming. And you know, they say you are what you eat, and the same is true for your brain. There's so much shit out there. People are obsessed with consuming all of the information, but I think people are becoming increasingly aware of the fact that like the name of the game now is selecting what to consume, selecting who to follow, curating and pruning your algorithm and all of that. Like I think this is just like an easy way for, if people are interested in what I'm reading, it's like it's basically my Twitter reading list effectively, that people can look back on, or if they want to join the community, they can like keep up to things in real time. And it was also like a fun automation and like little project to build. And I think there might even be a product in here to sell. But basically it's built now so that I don't have to manually tag things or name the entries in the Notion database. Like it's all done by ChatGPT. So I literally, when I see a tweet, I like it, I hit save. I use an Apple Shortcuts automation, uh, using the like Shortcuts app or whatever, and like the link in one button press is saved. It's automatically like a screenshot's captured of it. The contents are extracted. ChatGPT reads it, it titles it, and it tags it, and then it pushes it all to my Discord. Like it's pretty fun little like automation, and maybe there's like a product there like built on top of basically Zapier.
Dude, that's amazing. I actually didn't know the backstory in there, so I'll have a deeper look myself. But it's so true that you are what you eat. In this case, you are what what tweets you read.
Yeah, and like we get the same stuff because I think we operate in the same circles, but like a lot of other people might not get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff because
yeah.
they haven't taken the time to like follow and be followed by like the right people. It takes a lot of time and legitimate activity to like get the algorithm to spit us the right stuff. So I think we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
share
yeah.
that with people.
Yeah. Well, listen, shall we wrap up soon? Do we have anything else we'd like to share
I did get a
today?
tidbit of info for y'all. I was asking around about the y00ts DGods.
Tell me.
DGods apparently were given 2 mints each, and but
Wow.
there was a little under 4K unique holders at the time though,
Mm.
Oh, wow. So
and many of
regardless
them
of how
didn't
many,
use both of their mints.
Mm. But the supply was still 12.5K?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right,
Okay.
Mr. Snow, I need you to go covert on penetrating the 4chan deep state. I need you to figure out if this image above has any relation to Utes and if Utes are in cahoots with Pepe.
Yeah, I was just trying to look at that again. What was the name of it? That's
Look,
from.
it's pinned at the top here on the space. It's the
I'm for some reason mine is black. It won't let me scroll either
okay.
from
It's
left to right.
called it's called Boys Club by
Okay,
Matt Furie, Furie.
thank you. I've got it written
Um,
down now.
yeah, like go look at the original cartoon. Like that was the original cartoon. Then 4chan adopted it, and then Pepe started getting repurposed. It became super relatable, and everybody started making these hand drawn different versions of Pepe. And then people started to get annoyed with the overly used Pepes, and that coined this idea of the rare Pepe. Basically, this idea of like the least used and proliferated Pepe memes were the most rare ones. So basically, if you make a Pepe from scratch, it's like it's now considered rare. But this is like before NFTs and any of that stuff. But I think eventually that culture is what trickled in to like the rare Pepes that basically like christen this whole space, like even before CryptoPunk. So this shit runs deep. It runs deep
I'm about to deep dive.
culturally with internet memes, as well as with like 4chan
Wow.
weird shit.
Valko, listen. I
And
think next time we need a Pepe expert as a guest. And I think I know a couple of guys that are really into the Pepe meme. It would be amazing to have their take and their expertise on all this.
Please let
that
me know when
it would
that
be
is.
fun. Go deep on like the culture of Pepe, and then maybe like juxtapose it with like historical NFTs.
Yeah. I think I know just the right guy. You know, Phantom Scribbler. He
Mm.
is a deep Pepe lover, and he has a big bag of Pepe. He's the guy that I told you about the other day, who got
He
in
loves he
day
loves
one.
Pepe.
I mean, he loves Pepe. He got in day one with the coin, and he's riding now 100x on it. So it's pretty amazing. So I'll try to get him on for the next couple of times, and I'm sure he'll give us some cool stories.
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be really fun. Yeah, I think that's a good one for sure, especially if you can do it while the Pepe meme's hot. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I would love to do one on the whole like Uber mafia or maybe
Ooh.
PayPal mafia. If we get
Oh,
Uber and
by the way, do you know who's one of the really early employees at Uber? Like top, like earliest 50 employees,
is it a
and
punk?
he's also a punk.
Who?
NFT statistics.
Oh yeah, that's
That
right.
guy is like a super legend. I mean, like I was in the offices in Eastern Europe, and he was the one that launched the offices. So he was like an early day launcher, you know, like
Wow.
we,
And look
so
at
he,
him now.
What do you do for Uber?
me personally, currently nothing. Like I haven't worked there for like many years now, but I was a data analyst.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So
Professional nerd.
I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
Numbers and code and math, all that stuff, you
Yeah, I
know.
love it. I love it. That's cool.
But now it's
Man.
just JPEGs all day, all night.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about that time. Mr. Snow, if you're in town this weekend, let's get the boys together.
I am. I'm down. Just hit me up. I'm doing
All right.
a waltz dancing class Friday night, and other than that, I'm free.
Ah, ladies love that. The
Yeah,
ladies
yeah.
love
Me and the
it.
wife are going with another couple.
Nice.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
yeah,
All
Well,
hit
right,
me
thanks
up,
for
man.
guys.
joining, guys. It's been a lot of fun. If you have any recommended guests or topics, like please DM me or Forever Punks. If you can help us secure high-profile guests, that's awesome. And as always, come up on stage anytime. And if you follow, actually, let me just really quickly, if you go to my profile, in my bio is at Punks Roundtable. I'm also going to pin this tweet. Follow me. That's our new account. So I'm going to be hosting the spaces from that account going forward. And if you want to subscribe to notifications to be alerted of these spaces in real time, you can just turn on notifications on that account because it's basically only going to tweet about the space itself. And that way I can keep my feed clean and pure, memes and whatever only. So
Yeah, it's been fun. And then the link in the bio of the Punks Roundtable is our podcast. So like this episode will be up in like an hour. It'll be up on YouTube. It'll be up everywhere. So it's like totally automated, super cool, super fun. So if you enjoyed this or bits of it and want to share it with other people, like we literally just have a podcast live. Or if you want to listen to past episodes, like I don't know, I'm very proud of this. I had a lot of help from a member of my team to automate it, and it's super exciting for us. And hopefully, it'll promote this space and get a lot more people in. So, good things to come.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, Valko, for all this, and thank you everyone for joining. And we talk next Tuesday, right?
Yeah, appreciate y'all letting me speak. And forever, it was nice to speak with you, man.
Nice to meet you, friend.
All right, later, guys.
Goodbye.